most podcasts will fail. And that's the reality of it. Like only 10% of podcasters ever make any money from podcasting. And, then you factor in that so many people will get to about 10 episodes and they'll stop because of vanity metrics and these things that they've put in their mind to say, well, I haven't done 5,000 downloads per episode, so it's a waste of time. Like, no, no. Like, it's really not. Like, it's evergreen content. It's out there. You don't need to be world famous. You might only need to be an influencer for 500 people in your industry, and that puts you at the top of that space. So the emergence of podcasts. So I've been podcasting for over 10 years. I've done over 10,000 hours worth of podcasting now. We've been monetizing it for over 10 years in varying different levels and degrees. Some people for business development, some people actually monetizing the content, some people monetizing the network, some people advertising and sponsoring. There's loads of things you can do with it. I like to use it as an authority building tool, helping clients get to speak at these large events and network globally with the people who are going to be able to collaborate with them and partner with them and open the doors for their businesses and meeting potential customers and all this kind of beautiful stuff. But ultimately, the reason that most people struggle with podcasting, or that they even though it's emerging, they don't get it right, is because they don't have a strategy behind it. You wouldn't just go and start spending money on a SEO campaign or a PPC campaign or an AdWords campaign without having a strategy in the background. You do some planning and you'd see the keywords that people are searching and you'd look for all this kind of stuff. Well, podcasting is no different. And so many people just kind of start podcasting, they'll do interviews, or they sound really unnatural when they're having a conversation because they're trying to play like the radio host and they've built this big thing up in their mind. I always use the story of, imagine when you're podcasting, imagine you've met somebody at like an industry event, okay? And the two of you have hit it off and you've said, should we go for a beer? Should we go for a coffee? And you're sat on the other side of this small little round table to each other, and there's 3 chairs. There's you, there's the person you're speaking to, and then there's somebody that's just really interested in what you're saying, and they've come and sat down in the vacant chair. Well, that person is the audience, okay? So they're just there listening to this conversation. But ultimately, the conversation is between the host and the person that they're speaking to, and it's a back and forth. It's I want to learn from you. I want to give you something so that you can take something away from this call. I want to learn from you. And if this person sat at the table with us has enjoyed it, maybe they'll come back and listen to some more conversations. But when you think of it that way, podcasting stops being so scary, doesn't it? Like the whole, oh, I've got to get this, and if I don't get X amount of people listening, and it's the power of podcasting is in the global networking. It's in the Napoleon Hill meets podcasting. It's learning from people who have been there, done that, and are doing a great job. It's not in how many listeners you get. It's not in the vanity metrics of, well, this one, did 2,000 downloads in the first 24 hours of release. Like, that's all great, but it's just a vanity metric. It's not actually doing any good for your business.
And with that, and developing a strategy for podcasting, I've noticed now, like, with platforms like Buzzsprout
Yeah.
or, things of that nature, like trying to say or keep pushing, having your content or whatever is the audio in your video or the audio in your podcast written out. Now, is there a benefit to that?
Yeah, I mean it's more keywords and backlinks and using the whole Gary Vee thing of being able to turn one piece of content into like 50 different types of content. So it's like that podcast interview can become sound bites, can become a video, can become a podcast